Oh yes, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. If you haven't heard, they call this place the Dirty Myrtle. Where I start the video is southwest of town at Myrtle Beach State Park, and I actually really liked this spot as it seemed like it'd be far enough away from all the Mountain Dew drinking hilljacks partying it up in town. If not, there's several other beaches just south of here that seem to be pretty nice, such as Pawleys Island, Surfside Beach, and Huntington Beach State Park, along with a few others. But if you don't like the feeling of being isolated and instead you like the vibes of high-rises lining the beach, or maybe you just want to be able to walk to the beach from your hotel or Airbnb, North Myrtle Beach seems like it would be a pretty nice place. But Myrtle Beach, as in the city? Yeah, it's been getting a bad reputation, to say the least.
You gotta try to come down in the summer because it is fabulous here in the summer.
I believe it.
And when you do, try to stay down at this end more than Myrtle Beach.
Okay.
It's a lot nicer.
Gotcha.
Myrtle Beach has a lot of
Trash?
stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff going on.
I know what you mean.
Have a great day.
You too. Huh, dang. I'm telling you, I didn't even ask her about Myrtle Beach. She just said it on her own. That was audio from a brief conversation that I had with a friendly lady while visiting the area early in 2022. I was actually at the booth to enter a separate park just south of here. Myrtle Beach has been the fastest growing metro area in the country over the last 10 years, but as you heard there, some people feel like the massive increase in population is ruining the place. What is it with all of you that are moving down to Myrtle Beach, though? Seriously, let me know down in the comments below. What brought you to Myrtle Beach? Was it the Myrtle Beach Bike Week that brought you here? I understand that that's a pretty big deal, and it just happened a week before me uploading this video, but anyway, crime here is running high, I tell you. There's not that many high-paying jobs available either. The area makes its money strictly off of the tourism industry, so you better own a food truck or two if you're gonna get by. Well, maybe you don't need that, but we can get into all of the details of the economy later in the video. Alright, so yes, Myrtle Beach has gained a reputation of being a filthy beach that not only smells bad, but it's full of spiked Mountain Dew drinking hilljacks. Nobody wants to deal with that. And I've heard people say that Myrtle Beach has trash and condoms laying around all of the streets and beaches. I gotta say, I didn't see that when I was here, but that's because I visited in January of 2022, and there was a rare ice storm that came through the night before, and it kind of lingered around throughout the entire weekend. It was raining at night, sometimes freezing rain, and then it was sunny during the day. But during this time, I remember everyone freaking out down here, panicking, and every business closed. Police told people like me to not go out on the roads due to potentially dangerous driving conditions, so it sounds like I was able to see Myrtle Beach when it was at its best. I've got to admit, I liked what I saw. I thought that the area was really pretty. I thought that the beaches that I spent time at briefly were really nice. You know, cold weather doesn't really bother me as I'm from Michigan. Honestly, it's the days on end of cloudy skies that bothers me. I need to have the sun, and it was sunny here during the day when I was here, so I liked it. I also liked the airport, I've got to say. The airport is so small that when you fly in, you're able to walk right out within a matter of seconds, and there's no long security line when it's time to go back. Once you're in the rental car, it's really easy to get in and out of the airport too, so at least that's how it was for me, and Myrtle Beach has to be the smallest airport that I've flown in and out of. We're starting to see some of the tourist traps here as we turn towards the beachfront before taking Ocean Boulevard all the way northeast through the city. We'll be seeing tourist traps all over the place as we continue along. It's nice for people like me who are visiting, as there's plenty of things to do, but it's not so nice for the people who live here and have to deal with all of the crowds. Well, anyway, yes. The police told us to not go out on the roads due to potentially dangerous conditions, as they were fearful that black ice would be covering all of the roads. Well, the roads ended up having no ice on them whatsoever, and every business was closed this morning, and nobody was out because police told everybody to stay home. If anything, Jack Frost came to town just to scare off all of the jack-o'-lanterns, and it ended up working out well for me, as I didn't have to deal with any traffic at all while touring the city. The worst thing that happened from this particular ice storm, it lingered around and hit on 2 different nights, there were chunks of ice falling off of trees, buildings, and structures on the following day. This was the scene from the Skywheel around noon the next day. So yeah, that would be a little bit of a safety hazard, I would say. Maybe it was a good thing that most people stayed home. Anyway, side note, however, as before we move on, don't be trying to tell me in the comments that the Dirty Myrtle isn't full of rednecks and hillbillies. Long story short, I was at a self-checkout at a Walmart here just getting a few things on this trip, only to have a guy run over my foot in a power scooter without looking where he was going. And the dude tried to tell me that it was my fault. Oh, and all he had with him was a 6-pack of Mountain Dew, no lie. Out of all of the Walmart jokes that I've heard and said, that's the first time that I've had such an encounter at a Walmart. So I'll always associate Myrtle Beach with Walmart shopping, Mountain Dew drinking Hill Jacks. Anyway, here we're seeing the main stretch of Myrtle Beach. Ocean Boulevard is lined with hotels and motels and apartments and condos, and half the apartments and condos are probably Airbnb rentals with sketchy hosts. And despite the temperature being as low as 21 degrees on the morning that I visited, Myrtle Beach has benefited from the recent population trends of northerners wanting to move to a warmer climate. The average low for a January day in Myrtle Beach is 40 degrees, while the average high is 56. And if I remember correctly, I believe that it was about 65 every day the week following the weekend that I visited. So 60 degrees, 56, that's really not that bad at all. And even though there's been some young people moving here too, most of the new crowd has been retirees. To illustrate that further, the median age for Horry County residents is 46.7 years old, whereas the median age for a U.S. citizen is 38.8. With that said, the biggest reasons as to why most experts think that people have been moving to Myrtle Beach is because it's a popular tourist destination and it's on the beach. And it's in South Carolina, which is a pretty affordable state to live in. So aside from the affordability and the warmer year-round weather, I guess that people are moving here thinking that they'll never be bored? Well, you're always going to get bored of doing the same things over and over, and I can tell you with Myrtle Beach that that would probably happen. Well, now we're going to talk about just how fast the Myrtle Beach metro area has been growing. And when it comes to an area growing in population, if a place can grow its population by, let's say, 2% over a 2-year span, that's considered to be pretty good. Now, with that said, according to the latest data, the Myrtle Beach metro area has grown nearly 10% over the last 2 years, which is an insane amount of growth. And as you can see here, the only metro area that has grown larger by percentages is the Villages, Florida. But that place is also 1/5 the size of the Myrtle Beach metro area. Needless to say, half of the other metro areas on top of the list are smaller areas in Florida, along with St. George, Utah, and Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, which are both really small places. Despite the Myrtle Beach metro area being home to over 500,000 people now, the city of Myrtle Beach only takes up a small percentage of the overall population for the Myrtle Beach metro area. You can see here the population history for the city. The city limits of Myrtle Beach are very small, and the city limits are unlikely to expand anytime soon, as the city is surrounded by other independent cities, towns, and CDPs. For those of you who don't know, a CDP is a census-designated place, so it's a community, but it's not a city or a town. With that said, I could be wrong. It's possible that Myrtle Beach annexes some of the surrounding communities, but I did some research on it and I couldn't find any talk on the subject. And with that said, the city gets loads of dollars through the tourism industry, so it's not like there's any pressure for the city to expand. Here you can see the population growth for all of Horry County compared to just that of Myrtle Beach. So if you were to only look at the stats for the city of Myrtle Beach, then you wouldn't be getting the proper picture for just how large the area is and just how many people have been moving here. Well, moving on now to the economic stats, as today, Myrtle Beach is home to 38,000 people and the median household income is $45,000 per year, which is a really low number. 30% of adults 25 and older hold a bachelor's degree or higher. That's probably the best number off of this stat graphic here. And the median value of owner-occupied housing units is $246,000. That number used to be much lower, but once the population boom happened, that drove up the prices everywhere. Lastly, the poverty rate is 19%. And after a look at those economic stats, it's actually quite concerning to see such a low number for the median household income, yet see a median home value in the $200,000 range. You can also see that the economic numbers for all of Horry County are not very impressive either. So, yeah, it's pretty clear that the majority of people that are moving here aren't moving here as a career move. More so, it's retirees, and the younger people that move here see the low cost of housing and the fact that it's along the Atlantic Ocean. I mean, you won't find too many other populated areas along the ocean in the warm weather zone of this country that are cheaper than Myrtle Beach, even with the recent increase in prices. However, to further illustrate the lackluster Myrtle Beach economy, mbredc.org claims that the largest employers of the greater Myrtle Beach area are as follows: Horry County School District with over 5,000 employees, Walmart with 3,000. In third place, it's Coastal Carolina University with 2,500, Horry County Government with just over 2,000, and Conway Hospital with 2,150. I don't know about you, but Walmart doesn't seem to be a fulfilling career path to me. I don't know that many people that have worked at Walmart that have enjoyed it. I mean, now watch people show up in the comments below and get all offended by what I said and say that they love working at Walmart. I mean, hey, if you love working at Walmart, that's great. If you can be happy doing that, good for you, and I mean that. But me personally, I wouldn't, and I know a lot of people that wouldn't like that either. Anyway, chances are that you won't be able to find a satisfying, high-paying job in the Myrtle Beach area. That's why I don't believe that this population boom for the Myrtle Beach area is going to continue. To me, it seems like a giant fluke. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. We'll just have to wait and see. We're now passing by the Family Kingdom Amusement Park, which opened in 1966 and currently offers 37 rides. Well, moving on now, as Myrtle Beach has gained a reputation for being an extremely high-crime area. One website claims that Myrtle Beach is the third most dangerous city in the country. Now, I don't know about that, because if you're going to be the third most dangerous city in the country, that means you're considered to be more dangerous than either Detroit, St. Louis, Memphis, or Baltimore. Yeah, right. However, I do believe that there has been a sharp increase in crime here because the area has had several different factors working against it. With all of the people moving in due to the low costs, naturally, that has raised the price of housing through supply and demand. And at the same time, the economy hasn't been able to keep up as there aren't that many high-paying jobs in northeastern South Carolina, and that's something that we just went over. So as a response, low-income people have been getting priced out of their old neighborhoods, and wages haven't been increasing at their jobs to keep up with the raised cost of living. I'll also add that I didn't see it when I was filming this video, but I was in the downtown Myrtle Beach area on 2 or 3 different days during my trip here, and on one of the days, there was a small crowd of homeless people at one of the street corners in downtown. And it seemed to me that they were waiting for a food pantry to open or something, but there's definitely a sizable homeless population here, and it's estimated to be at 1,000 people, which is quite a big number for a smaller metro area. There's really not that much abandonment in Myrtle Beach, but to the left here, there is a boarded-up motel when I visited. Anyway, with all of that said, the violent crime rate in Myrtle Beach is 1,200 for every 100,000 residents, and the property crime rate is a whopping 8,300 for every 100,000 residents. So again, I ask, why are you people wanting to move here so bad? I'd imagine that the local CrossFit and boxing gyms are maxed out with their memberships because if I had to live here, that's the very first place that I'd be going to. Forget the beach. I hear that all of the overflow sewage and stormwater gets dumped into the ocean along the beach in the city, so yeah, no thanks. I'll just head south to Pawleys Island. You guys can have a party on the beach here. Again, those numbers are probably inflated some because there are only 38,000 people that live in the city of Myrtle Beach year-round, and the area sees 19 million visitors a year, but obviously crime still happens. And if you visit here or move here, you should take all of the basic precautions, such as not leaving valuables in your car, and you should always watch your back or at least stay within a group of people. Most of the crime in Myrtle Beach happens in the touristy downtown area, so yeah, just be careful if you're visiting, and you should be fine. Should be fine. However, once you're away from the downtown area, all the motels and hotels, all the theme parks, the Skywheel, the Ripley's Believe It or Not downtown, whatever it is that draws people into the downtown area, once you're away from it and you're out in the inland parts of the Myrtle Beach area, there's still a lot to do because there's actually a huge crowd of people that come here for an entirely different reason than to hang out at the beach, and that's the crowd that likes to play golf. That's right, many of the people that come to Myrtle Beach couldn't care less about the Skywheel and the beaches because they're here to hit the links. Myrtle Beach is rated as one of the top vacation spots for golf in the country. The surrounding area has over 80 award-winning golf courses and 50 mini golf courses. Honestly, it's amazing that there's that many of them that can stay in business with so much competition, but I'm guessing that golf lovers couldn't care less about anything that I have to say on the place. They're going to keep coming here because it's a heaven for golf lovers. Nothing will stop them from coming here. And we'll be getting away from the ocean front in a separate video that I will have uploaded on my second channel called Chris Harden's Travel Archives, and the link for my second channel is down below, and once the video for part 2 will be uploaded, I will have that link down below as well. But with all of the golf courses, the 60 miles of beaches, the quirky tourist shops, museums, and small theme parks that are located here, the Myrtle Beach area once again sees an average of 19 million visitors annually. So despite what you're seeing in this video, Myrtle Beach can be really crowded and traffic can be a nightmare, so you better prepare yourself for large crowds before you head on down. And you better watch out for power scooting hill jacks at the local Food Lions and Walmarts if you end up needing to get something from there. And if you couldn't tell, now we're in the main section for the downtown touristy area of Myrtle Beach, and it's highlighted by the Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum on the left, and then you have the famous Skywheel on the right that is the key feature of the Myrtle Beach skyline, and then you have all of these other restaurants and touristy shops in between. And behind the shops on the right is a boardwalk that goes up and down the beach. All right, so lastly, I'll talk about the history of Myrtle Beach and some other facts about the place, as I usually mention these in videos. The first European settlers to explore the area were from the party of Spaniards from Hispaniola. In 1526, they founded the first European settlement in the present-day United States, about 30 miles south of Myrtle Beach along the Atlantic coast. That settlement was called San Miguel de Guadalupe, and it was abandoned the next year when they returned to their mainland in Europe. It wasn't until the 1900s when people would start to regularly vacation in the area that eventually became Myrtle Beach. The name Myrtle comes from a tree called the southern wax myrtle that is found in the area. Locals had a contest in 1900 to figure out what to call the place, and Myrtle Beach was the name that won, with the name of Edgewater coming in second place. Myrtle Beach was incorporated as a town in 1938 and as a city in 1957 once the population became 5,000. So in the grand scheme of things, Myrtle Beach is a fairly young city, especially for being along the Atlantic coast. Originally, Myrtle Beach was a military town as it was home to the U.S. Army Air Corps in the 1940s, and in the 1950s, the Myrtle Beach Air Force Base was established. The base closed in 1993, however, and today, the Market Common District sits on a portion of the land where the old base used to be, which is just west of the current Myrtle Beach International Airport. To see the Market Common District, make sure to watch video part 2 of my tour of Myrtle Beach, and the link for that, once again, will be down below once that's uploaded. Otherwise, there's not much else to mention about the history of the place, as Myrtle Beach, South Carolina has always been a popular tourist destination, and once the cold weather exodus came to be in full effect in this country, the Myrtle Beach area has seen significant growth after being a small city for quite some time. One last thing that I wanted to point out is that there isn't an interstate highway that serves the Myrtle Beach metro area, making it one of the most populated regions in the country without one. And as I mentioned that Myrtle Beach is a fairly young city when the interstate highway system was first being developed, Myrtle Beach wasn't very big at all, and there aren't really any populated areas nearby, so it makes sense that there isn't an interstate highway that serves the area. However, that makes it a little bit difficult to get in and out of the area if you decide to road trip here, as the roads are very congested due to the population boom and the amount of tourists that come through. The infrastructure definitely needs some upgrading. With that said, I'm going to continue heading down Ocean Boulevard, and at the end of the video, I'll show the high school and talk about it before ending the video. Further on down along Ocean Boulevard, we'll have a change of scenery, as soon we're going to stop seeing the high-rises and condos, and we're going to see some pretty nice-looking mansions along Ocean Boulevard. Anyway, feel free to crack open a nice cold Mountain Dew, like anyone from the Dirty Myrtle would, and enjoy the scenery. So here's where all of the high rises and hotels and motels end, and this is where it starts to feel more classy and residential. Well, gee, that didn't take long to get back to seeing high-rise condos, apartments, and hotels. Myrtle Beach High School is a few miles away from the beach, and the athletic teams go by the Seahawks. Niche.com ranks the school as a B+, so that's better than average. Among the most notable alumni is former Notre Dame quarterback Everett Golson and former NBA player Ramon Sessions. Well, in this video, you saw the city of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and you heard about how it's one of the fastest growing metro areas in the entire country. Not sure why, because the crime rate is really high and there's not really that many high-paying jobs in the area, so not sure if people are thinking that the grass is going to be greener over here or anything, but I guess they'll just have to learn the hard way, right? Well, if you want to see more of Myrtle Beach, I explored the city for another hour or so, and I'll have a part 2 video coming on my second channel. In that video, you will see more of Myrtle Beach away from the beach. You will see more of the inland areas, some of the residential neighborhoods, some of the shopping areas. I mean, Myrtle Beach is really just a big old suburb if you really think about it. You have the high rises along the beach, and then everything is just kind of a suburban mess. Well, you have a lot of touristy things to check out in part 2 of the video. You have some shopping malls, you have more theme parks. So if you're interested, make sure to check that video out. And once that is uploaded, the link for that will be down below. With that said, I do end the video here. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, as doing all of those things helps these videos destroy the evil monster that is the YouTube algorithm. Also, make sure to hit that notification bell and select yes so that you can be notified every time that I upload a new video. If you enjoyed this video, then you might enjoy checking out some of the featured playlists on this channel. Videos with amazing insights on other places like what you saw here can be found in my Tourist Town playlist, my medium-sized USA City playlist, or in my South Carolina playlist. And depending on the time that you see this video, this might be the only video available on my South Carolina playlist. Meanwhile, if you can't get enough of me on here, you can always go follow me on my other social media accounts, and those links are below. We'll see you next time. Peace.